Philip Paul Burnell is a man.
Oh yeah, that's a nice dollop right there. It's time to get cool.
PC cooling gel.
Yeah.
Can I Google it? No, because I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the thing. It got mailed to my house. I don't even, it didn't even come with a proper thing on it to say exactly what it is.
Philip Burnell.
AMD processors are meant to overheat. They're not good. They're not like Intel processors with a cooling solution. This thing is going to overheat.
Skip it up and that up. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want great software at affordable prices? Well, you could have a cucumber, and I don't know what that would do for you, but you should go to softwarekeep.com. SoftwareKeep provides products like Windows 10, Windows 11, Microsoft Office suites, and antivirus, and they also offer digital keys with top-notch 24/7, 365-day customer support. All your purchases are secured and safe with a lifetime product guarantee. Buy once from SoftwareKeep and use forever because you're worth it. SoftwareKeep is there to help customers every step of the way and even after the sale. Their IT specialists will provide the answers that you need. They don't use robots and offer a full-service 360-degree software buying experience. And over 100,000 customers gave SoftwareKeep a 5-star rating. SoftwareKeep also offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you could be 100% confident in your purchase. So click the link in the description and use the code RTYT20 to get 20% off your order. Again, click the link in the description and use the code RTYT20 to get 20% off your order. Thanks to SoftwareKeep for sponsoring this video.
Bubbles, 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 bubbles.
Philip Burnell is a man, okay? And he was gifted a computer, which I have to get up on the screen right now. That's not it, god damn it. So Phil was gifted. There's conspiracies that he bought it and he wanted to say it was gifted to him, so people are like, hey Phil, I thought you said you're in dire straits and you're buying mini PCs, whatever. Wherever the PC came from, it could have came out of his ass.
Philip Burnell.
Yeah! More than likely, even if it's a slightly different brand, I know it's Trig Key, or if it's a slightly different model, he got the Trig Key Ryzen 7 Mini PC. I'll have a link to all these PCs below in the description. You can check them out. If you want to buy them, yeah, there'll be affiliate links, but I wouldn't recommend buying Phil's computer, not because it's a bad one, but you'll see why in a second. So, Phil got this computer allegedly donated to him. It has the Ryzen 7 5800H in it. That has 8 cores, 16 threads. It's based on Zen 3. Now, before AMD got into the 6000 series mobile chips, the integrated graphics on those were Vega graphics. Now, the rest of this computer actually is pretty good. 32 gigabytes of RAM. His has a terabyte of storage. So on, and it's a decent PC, okay? Why am I even making this video about Phil's computer? It's not because he didn't know about the tech that was inside of it, but of course Phil had to, take everything to the next level of stupidity, and even though he knew nothing about the computer, he had to talk down to his audience and make it like he did know things about the computer. Like, for example, him saying that AMD processors are meant to overheat. Not that they might. Not that they're prone to, which is not true. They're meant to overheat. You don't believe me? Here are his words.
AMD processors are meant to overheat. They're not good. They're not like Intel processors with a cooling solution. This thing is going to overheat.
A very intelligent brain.
And when people question him about the specs of the computer, for example, what kind of graphics are in the Trig Key computer that he received as a donation, he got angry and said that I already told you what those specs are, even though he never mentioned the graphics at all. Don't believe me? Roll that beautiful bean footage, Jay.
Lavinia. Oh my God, Lavinia. You're doing it too. Did I literally not do a segment explaining that mini PC has no ventilation whatsoever? There's no fan or cooling. So even though it might play a 3D game, it's not meant to do that because it will overheat.
So, point being is that Phil talked a whole bunch of crap made it like he knew everything about the computer inside and out, and then when people called him out the next day for not knowing about the specs of the computer, even though he made it like he did, and got pissed off at people when they questioned him, he's like, how was I supposed to know these things? I'm just going by what the audience said. Phil, there's something called Google. You could type in the make and model of your computer, which would have been somewhere on the box. In 30 seconds, you would know everything inside and out about your new little gaming PC. But you didn't do that because you're Philip Burnell and you're a man.
Can I Google it? No, because I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the thing. It got mailed to my house. I don't even, it didn't even come with a proper thing on it to say exactly what it is.
Now you may be wondering, Rich, why wouldn't you get the same PC to make it an apples to apples comparison? No, that would make no sense, and I'll explain to you why. Valid point that you make, but I got a PC that's essentially the same size as Phil, that's significantly more powerful, and on top of that, we are going to upgrade it. We are going to put a 4 terabyte SATA SSD in there.
This is incorrect. Rich had to use a Samsung Evo 2 terabyte solid state drive due to the 4 terabytes drive being incompatible. He also has large breasts.
We're also going to put a 4 terabyte NVMe M.2 drive in there, and this thing also has a more powerful processor. This is the Ryzen 7 7735HS. Did I say that right without looking at the screen? I meant to have it up there. Yeah, 7735HS. I remember that off the top of my head.
And now I'm gonna masturbate.
This is actually based on Zen 3 Plus architecture from AMD. Because it has RDNA 2, it's called the Radeon 680M in here. So this thing is a little beast. It could do AAA gaming, 1080p, and you could put it at like medium settings, high settings, depending on the frame rates that you want to get. And again, more power, same size. But will it need the cooling gel like Phil says? Because Phil says that AMD processors are meant to overheat. Do you think Phil's right about that one? Spoiler alert. Anyway, let's unbox this thing. I talked a lot. I'm a man.
Yeah!
Did I mention that it's past midnight and I'm starting to film this? Yeah. Oh yeah, so what does this have in it? So you know what processor it has 32 gigabytes of RAM. For some reason they go with only 500 gigabytes of storage, which... Alright, I know they're looking to cut corners somewhere to keep the price on these down. Oh yeah, prices! Phil's computer right now on Amazon you could actually get it for $399. The prices constantly fluctuate. They have coupons, they don't have coupons. You could get his computer for $399. The computer I'm showing here, which is the B-Link SER6 Pro, you could actually get this with a coupon for $499. The $100 difference, this is a hell of a lot better value, and it's a hell of a lot more capable than Phil's computer. So, I mean, if you'll have choices below. If you really don't want to spend the extra $100, you can get Phil's. I don't recommend it. This also has USB 4, so you could use things like an external GPU or a monitor that you could hook up via USB 4 too. So that's an extra nice little feature in here that Phil's computer doesn't have. But anyway, it's not even about that. It's about the fact that I want to show that these tiny little computers can cool themselves and do a hell of a lot of gaming if you know what you're doing. And if you don't yell at your audience for just asking a question like what kind of graphics it has built into it. Did I mention that was really ridiculous? So's Phil's intro for his podcast. Alright, so here is the computer. Notice that it's small. Just like Philip Burnell's computer.
Yeah!
It's a lot more powerful. So we'll put that aside real quick. We'll see what else it comes with here. Don't worry, I won't stare at an HDMI cable for like 30 minutes.
No, that just looks like a regular HDMI.
All right, what am I even talking about? Let's take this computer. Let's take off the wrap here. You can see it.
Breast.
All right, that was exciting. My desk is a mess, and you know what? I don't care. Because I'm a mess. So there it fits. My desk fits my personality. Isn't that wonderful? I'm just a man that just oozes positivity.
Oh, the camera's on.
All right, just wanted to verify something real quick. So I didn't pull my own Philip Burnell. So what we have in front here is two USB-A ports that are USB 3.2. This is actually pretty cool. This is another thing that Phil's Trig Key computer doesn't have. This is USB-C, but it's also USB 4, which means that you could use this to hook up to a monitor and it'll actually output video with the USB 4 port, or you could actually hook up an external GPU and make this into a gaming monster. Now keep in mind, through USB 4 or Thunderbolt, that's Intel's proprietary technology, it's not going to give you full PCIe 16 bandwidth, but it'll still give you desktop graphics performance that'll be significantly better than the... Oh, I thought that button was almost broken. That would have made me cry. It's not. Nice and clicky. So you could actually do some other things with this, and it actually has substantial I/O that makes this computer pretty damn capable. You have a headphone jack, which is also a microphone jack there if you do that and want to do things with that. You have a clear CMOS button, which is actually recessed. Thank God. There's some models, I think even B-Link is guilty of doing this, where they have a clear CMOS button, which is a regular button, which is a real bad idea to have on these, especially when people don't even go into the BIOS and know what they're doing. Anyway, I mean, I'm glad they have it, that it's accessible with like a little pin, but a regular button they shouldn't have on there. So we have the vents here, which, yes, Phil, this does have fans in it.
So there's no fan in there. There's no way there's a fan in this thing.
And this is the... He's like, is that a speaker? Yes, he said it's... Dear God. On the back here, we actually have a decent amount of I/O as well. We have our barrel plug for the power.
HDMI 2.0.
Yeah!
DisplayPort 1.4, another USB-A 3.2 port, another USB port here. This is 2.0. That's where you plug in, like, if you want to plug in a gamepad that's wired, or if you want to plug in a wireless keyboard or something like that. That's what USB 2 is for, and there's more than enough bandwidth for basic peripherals like that. You also have 2.5 gigabit Ethernet LAN in the back. For a tiny computer, there's a lot here. Now, according to Mr. Burnell, this thing should set itself on fire. But will it? No.
Hey everybody, Rich of the future here. Just wanted to let you know that the SRE6 Pro mini desktop from B-Link, when it comes to the SATA SSD drive, the max storage size it could take is 2 terabytes. It cannot go beyond that. If you put a bigger SATA SSD in here, it won't even recognize it, and if anything, it will corrupt it. So the max size, according to B-Link, is 2 terabytes. Don't go over 2 terabytes for the SATA drive. I just didn't want to pull a Linus Tech Tips and not let you guys know. Oh, snap. And now it's time to see what the May 1st burst white hot cooling gel PC is capable of when it comes to gaming, boys and girls. Let's take a look. It's time for the benchmarks, baby.
Yeah!
Cyberpunk 2077 1080p medium settings FSR 2.1 set to balanced, and we got 36.52 FPS as an average. In the ass. Philip Burnell is a man. Dead Island 2, a game for men. Men with asses. 1080p, high settings. FSR 2 set to balanced. 35-ish FPS is the average. There's no benchmark in there. It just stayed around that number. Very playable. Gears of War 5, 1080p, medium settings. I set the resolution scale to 720p, and we get an average of almost 80 FPS.
Woo! Right up my ass, baby. I love it.
Red Dead Redemption 2, 1080p. Favorite quality all the way up to max settings. Fidelity FX2 set to balanced, and we get an average of 48.49 frames per second. Zombie Army 4, Dead War, 1080p, high settings, 36 FPS average. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. My large ass leaves a shadow on the ground when the sun is up in the sky because I'm wide. 1080p, high settings, 36 FPS. So as you see, the B-Link with the SER6 Pro, which has an 8-core, 16-thread Ryzen 7 7735HS processor with Radeon 680M integrated graphics, is an absolute gaming monster for its size, okay? The games, all of them, running at 1080p, medium settings, high settings. Yes, I implemented fidelity effects, but you're getting good frame rates at not low settings at HD resolutions on a PC that could fit literally in your hand. Like this right here. It's absolutely incredible. And to Phil, my main motivator for making this video, did this PC melt? Are AMD processors supposed to overheat or are meant to overheat? Those were his exact words. I actually added a bigger SSD, and which technically mitigated the cooling, I even added a 4 terabyte SATA SSD, which you saw in the video.
You're an idiot. It's a Samsung Electronics 870 EVO 2 terabytes SSD. Make meaningful content and explode with satisfaction.
And this computer still held it down. I mean, it wasn't running cool, but with the extra components and the high settings and demanding games I was playing and running this at a 45 watt TDP, which I did go into the BIOS and I upped the TDP from its defaults to 45 watts. Even with the extra SSD pumping out heat and the TDP raised up, it wasn't running cool. But for a box this size and with the TDP going up to 45 watts, we were staying in the low 80s for both the GPU and CPU, which is on the same die. That's why it's called an integrated GPU. But it didn't overheat. It didn't even throttle. It didn't get 95 degrees Celsius is where this processor begins to throttle. Never got there once, Phil. Never need to whip out the cooling gel except on my face. With menthol in it. Anyway, Phil, you're an idiot. I don't care that you don't know about technology, but you didn't know about technology, tried to make it like you do about technology, and then when people called you out for not knowing about the technology that you knew nothing about, you said, I don't know about the technology. How am I supposed to know? You want me to actually Google something and take 20 seconds to do it? I can't do that. I'm Phil. So you see, Phil, I did a whole bunch of AAA gaming, and this did not melt. The AMD processor in here is just fine. And I didn't yell at my audience when I didn't read off a specification and I thought I did. Remember when they asked you about the graphics, Phil? Oh, man. You are your own worst enemy. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
I'm never blowing bubbles ever again.